Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at the Chenab River, specifically in Jammu and Kashmir.
That's right.
We've got sources talking about the big Sawalkote Hydroelectric Project and its recent environmental clearance.
Mm-hmm.
And our mission really is to figure out why this project, stalled for so long, suddenly got the green light. And what did that tell us about, regional water treaties?
Well, the timing is definitely interesting. This project, it's a run-of-the-river design.
Right.
And it seems to be the first major hydro project on the Indus rivers to get clearance after India suspended parts of the Indus Waters Treaty, back on April 23rd.
After that Pahalgam attack, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's nail down the scale here. It's supposed to be the biggest run-of-the-river type.
That's the plan. We're talking nearly 1,865 megawatts capacity.
Wow.
Generating something like 8,000 million units a year. Huge output.
And the cost reflects that, I imagine. I saw figures jumping from, 22,000 crore initially?
Yeah, and now it's pegged at over 31,000 crore. Almost 31,380 crore.
That's a massive jump.
Yeah.
Which, I guess, hints at the delays we mentioned.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
cost escalation is directly tied to how long this has been sitting around. I mean, it was technically initiated way back in 1984.
Okay.
Got an initial environmental sort of nod in 2017, but then just stalled right there.
So what held it up for those, 6 years until this recent final clearance? What was the main issue?
It really came down to the forest clearance. It's a huge area, 846 hectares needed diverting.
Yeah.
And that involved felling over 2.2 lakh trees. That's 220,000 trees.
That's a significant environmental footprint just on the forestry side.
Absolutely. And the original body in charge, the state's JKPDC, they just couldn't secure that clearance. It was the major bottleneck.
Ah, right. But then responsibility shifted.
It did. It was transferred to NHPC Ltd, the national corporation.
And suddenly things started moving.
Seems like it. NHPC is basically running the show until 2061 now. That transfer itself, well, it signals a big shift in priority, politically speaking.
Okay, that makes sense. And didn't they have to redo some environmental studies because the old ones were, ancient?
Yeah, pretty much. The original baseline data was gathered way back in 2012. So ministry rules meant they needed fresh data. They collected that between July 2022 and May 2023.
And what do the new data show? Any big changes?
Well, interestingly, the Expert Appraisal Committee, the EAC, they found no major natural environmental changes. But, and this is important, they specifically noted an increase in anthropogenic impacts since 2012. Things like domestic wastewater, runoff.
Yeah.
Basically, more human activity affecting the water.
Okay, so the human impact was already visibly increasing before this big project got the final go-ahead.
Precisely.
And that clearance, again, comes right after the IWT suspension. That feels deliberate, like a strategic move.
Officials basically confirmed that. They said the push to use the full potential of the eastern Indus rivers gave this Sawalkote project real momentum, strategic momentum.
Right, which brings us to maybe the most critical part of this, the exemption.
Yes. This is the core of it, really. Normally, a project this size absolutely requires two things: a cumulative impact assessment or CIA.
Which looks at the total environmental burden, right?
Exactly. And carrying capacity studies, CCS, which assesses if the river basin can actually handle that burden.
Okay, standard practice for big projects.
Usually, yes. But Sawalkote got an exemption from both.
Wow. A complete bypass on those cumulative checks? Why? Especially when, as you said, the baseline already showed rising human impact.
Well, the request came jointly from the Ministries of Power and Home Affairs.
Okay.
And the reason given was strategic importance. The Home Affairs Secretary argued that building it quickly was vital for using the Chenab's potential, especially, quote, in the current geopolitical scenario.
Geopolitics trumping standard environmental review, essentially.
And crucially, they also argued that doing those studies, the CIA and CCS could actually slow down or impact other hydro projects planned for J&K.
Ah, so it wasn't just about this one project. It was about clearing the path for a whole slate of them, quickly.
That seems to be the implication. Speed across the board was prioritized over those cumulative assessments.
So let's recap. We have a huge, very expensive project, stuck for years, suddenly fast-tracked for strategic reasons.
Right.
And in that fast-tracking, it bypasses key environmental studies designed to understand the total long-term impact on the river basin.
Exactly. The very studies that look at the bigger picture.
So thinking about that baseline data, the stuff that already showed increasing human pressures even before this massive project, what responsibility does this new strategic momentum carry? especially for watching over the Chenab's long-term health, when you've deliberately skipped the studies meant to baseline that cumulative impact? That's really the question, isn't it? Something for you, the listener, to think about.